we are going to go right back into Punk and the situation with Street Fighter Capcom Pro Tour, Street Fighter V Capcom Pro Tour. As we all know, last week, Punk, one of the best players in Street Fighter V, was DQ'd from the tournament on the West Coast qualifier because he made some very lewd comments in the Discord of the Capcom Pro Tour, and also made some very lewd comments to another player, Alex Myers. And Capcom yesterday actually came down with their punishment that really wasn't even a punishment, which was that Punk, if he chooses to be in another qualifier for the Capcom Pro Tour, would end up in the losers bracket. This, in my opinion, isn't even a punishment. This is doing something to say you did something for the sake of it. Because it seems that because Punk is one of the best players, people just allow him to just act any way he wants to. And I'm talking about people in the community, commentators or whatever, and it just doesn't make sense that Punk just got a slap on the wrist, like you said, Chris. I just don't understand how this goes over and over again with Punk, that he does not get any kind of real punishment, because this has been a trend now. And like I said last week, I thought that Punk should have been suspended from the Capcom Pro Tour, or even banned, because this has been going on now for 3 years of him acting out, and this is way more than being mad, in my opinion. And I just understand that the FGC mostly came to his defense because of the net code being an issue. Even though the net code's issue, what you know, we are in season 5 now. If you don't like the net code and the net code's that big of an issue, don't play. Don't play. That's as simple as that. I know people don't want to hear that, but in my opinion, that is what you should do if it's that big of an issue and makes you act out that way. Because no matter how bad the net code is, it should never get to the point of you basically verbally harassing another player, and also just going after TOs and big people in the community like Alex Valle. So, before I get into my rest of my opinions and, comments on, what do you think about the punishment, Chris?
It's a big slap on the wrist. And, I guess if you're Punk, you can get away with that stuff, no consequences. So Capcom, I just don't get it. They're punishing other people left and right, but, they're not punishing all. So it's definitely not even an even playing field when it comes to punishment in FGC and the Capcom Pro Tour. So I just don't see that much hope for the future when it comes to that type of stuff. So, and of course, only Capcom had, made a decision, made a statement. Did his sponsor, did they, make a statement or anything like that?
They actually did, but it was a very weak one. They basically said that since Capcom went ahead and punished them, they saw no reason to add any further punishment to it. So they basically just waited till Capcom made a punishment, and then just were like, oh, that's enough. We're not going to do nothing. So I believe that Panda Global made a very dangerous precedent as a sponsor, because they're just waiting for basically the big company, as far as the tour company, to just come out with their punishment and just hand it off to them. They're allowing their players to say, hey, you can curse out fellow participants and, TOs and just act very reckless if the net code's bad. I said last month that until you have a governing body, a sanctioned governing body like other esports, it won't ever stop. Because if this happened in a Call of Duty tournament, an Overwatch tournament, a Fortnite tournament, he would have been kicked off the team and he would have been banned or suspended for 6 months to a year. Guaranteed. They do not play with this type of stuff in those genres. You can't sit there in those genres and say, oh, he's only 21, or he's a kid. Give him a break. He just got mad. I would get mad too if the net code was bad. It doesn't work like that. You can't just sit there and just blame your actions on a faulty match or whatever, or lag. They're going to say, get out of here with that. Because you think somebody like Jack in the Box, who's sponsored by the Dallas Fuel, would allow that if it was an Overwatch match? No, they're not going to allow that. They're not going to say, well, he's only 21. Okay, then he needs to take some of that money back that he's made then. That's exactly how they did. If you can't act like that, then give the money back.